My name is Mark Arnold, and this is a presentation on the economic policies and analysis for Croatia. Here's a quick economic snapshot of the current economic conditions. Roughly 1.1% inflation rate, an unemployment rate about 12%. Their foreign exchange rate to the US dollar is roughly 6.5 kuna to $1. Quick overview. Croatia was once the former Yugoslavic Republic. They gained their independence in 1991 and joined the European Union in 2013. The Constitution provides for a free economic market guided by the government's economic policies, and the Ministry of Finance is responsible for the preparation and implementation of the government's fiscal policy. There are many hurdles that this young country still is trying to overcome, including government corruption, weak protection of the private property, and a public sector debt that makes spending by the government on health care and pension fiscally unsustainable. The business environment in Croatia also struggles. Organized crime, bribery, and corruption, while illegal, still has a foothold in the government and the private industry. The legal system does not help much with this issue. Due to a major backlog of court cases, this has deterred many from using this route to dispute their differences. Productivity over the past several years in Croatia has continued to decline. Studies have shown that there remains a few number of highly productive firms, while the majority remain unproductive. Trade in Croatia is extremely vital to their economy. Roughly 43.3% makes their exports or imports of machinery, transport and electric equipment, fuels and lubricants, and foodstuffs. Their exports total roughly 27.1% of their nation's GDP. Croatia is quickly becoming one of the EU's poorest country, with roughly 19.5% of the population living under the poverty line and an unemployment rate of almost 12%. Although there are many causes of increased poverty in the nation, the main drivers in Croatia are the rising foreign debt and an ongoing 6-year recession and their high unemployment rate. Croatia's debt continues to rise with no sign of stopping, totaling approximately 108% of the annual GDP. Due to rising debt, Croatia's credit rating continues to drop, making it more and more difficult to secure the aid they need. The Great Recession of 2018 hit Croatia very hard. During this recession, child poverty rates skyrocketed and the country's growth rate remained under 2%. Increasing public debt and rising taxes have stifled the job market. As with many developing countries, Croatia struggles to keep and maintain a healthy economy. There are many factors at play. However, a few steps in the right direction can be the push that Croatia needs. First, Croatia needs to alleviate their court system. While the right to property is granted in the Constitution, enforcement is difficult due to a massive backlog of court cases. Second, Croatia would benefit from a tax reform and reduction of government spending to control their debt. A simplified tax code would promote growth in private sector business and provide for an increase in jobs. Lastly, reducing government bureaucracy and regulation. A transparent government and a reasonable and predictable regulations with reduction in government-owned business would provide for an environment in which private sector can grow. There are a few things that Croatia can do to revitalize their economy. First, they need to ease the way businesses do business, and second, businesses need to reach new markets and focus on imports and exports. The business environment in Croatia is hard for the private sector. It is difficult for businesses to hire and create new jobs. There is much red tape in applying for and receiving capital loans, and the laws around employment make it difficult to hire and even harder to fire employees. Reducing regulations in the financial sector, as well as reducing regulations of employment law to reasonable standards that still protect the workers and safeguards the integrity of the banking system. Trade in Croatia makes up most of all their GDP. Businesses need to understand what the country is importing and develop innovative ways to compete in order to strengthen their domestic markets. Second, businesses would benefit from expanding to new markets around the world. Building on what they currently export, given the value of their currency, they would be competitive in other markets. Expanding their exports would give their economy a boost they have never seen before. The minimum wage in Croatia is roughly 3,439 kun per month, which roughly translates to $567 a month, which is well above the global poverty line. However, approximately 19.5% of the population lives below the national poverty line, which for a family of four would translate to $660 per month based on a 30-day month. Currently, the business climate in Croatia heavily protects the workers, making it very difficult to terminate an employee. While good for the worker, it is contributing to the hindrance of the economic growth. There needs to be a balance to protect the workers while still allowing for economic growth. Steady economic growth would be the fastest way to reduce unemployment and the poverty rate. For those still struggling due to reasons beyond their control, mental health issues or other disabilities that are preventing individuals from working, social welfare programs, which are in place in Croatia, help to provide care for them. Able-bodied workers who are struggling due to the downturns in the economy have access to temporary assistance. Economic growth is best assistance for a country that can provide to its population. Those who are able to work but refuse should not qualify. 2 Thessalonians 3:10 tells us that the ones who are unwilling to work shall not eat. These are my resources. Thank you very much.